This video is made for adult collectors because man explodes. Spoiler alert. So Commander Magnus, this man caused some sort of a row in the community of does this meet the $90 US price for a commander? It's not super tall, but commanders haven't really been about height since Rodimus. They've sort of fluctuated since then, and this dude is chunky. Though in person he isn't as wide as the pictures make it seem, which was a nice change of pace. I see this every time a commander comes out. Oh, it's not worth the price, look at it. Armada Prime and Magnus are the most recent culprits of that. And every time the toy releases, people get it and go, oh, it's actually totally worth it. And you'd think by now people would learn and go, oh, it's actually going to feel worth it when it releases, so I will withhold my complaint because there isn't much basis on it. But this is the Transformers fandom, and we're all guilty of that, myself included. So this being the first Studio Series Commander, you'd think there would be some growing pains, but due to this being a G1 styled Commander, that's something that Hasbro is very good at this point, it just works all around. Magnus here feels superb. Commanders have always, well, almost always, had the best feeling plastics. Nice and dense and weighty with part walls that are generally thicker and they're just nicer to handle, except for maybe Motormaster. And Magnus is all of that. The thing I like the most hand feel wise is the legs. They're just sturdy, solid pillars for him to just stand on, and they feel filled in. There's no real large hollow bits hanging out in your face. Everything just sort of closes off and works. Arms are the same way. They feel chunky and solid, and they look the part. I love the way that the shoulder clips become the little bits that stick off his shoulder pads. I didn't even notice that in the official photos, so like once I got it in hand, it really surprised me. His head too, the light piping is super good. It's clear, but his glasses thingies are blue, and that just lets the light really flow through the head even more into his eyes. And it's like, I think the best light piping I've seen on a modern figure this year. He still does the upside down crotch plate thing, which I don't like that much. It was like an accident, the original thing, and then just sort of like stuck with it. The furnace is just turned on, god damn. Now I was thinking this was going to be similar to the Masterpiece in the way that it works, but I'm so glad they did their own thing with this guy. It means there's no stupid roof butt flap, among other problems the MP had. Now on him being too wide. He is wide. The limb removal gimmick is funny and all, but it does mean his shoulders have to stick out a bit. But in person, like I said, it doesn't stick out as much as I thought it would. I know it will still bug some people because they are quite wide, but they're not as wide as those pictures make it seem. It also always just depends on what lens they're using to take the photos, because that sort of just changes the way things look. It does mean you can connect him to Minosaur and have it look like this, and that's funny, I guess. I mean, it is kind of funny. He looks like the Thing. Please tell me people here have seen the movie The Thing. He comes with two guns, which are done in a very nice metallic, light purplish, pinkish, whatever color. I don't know, it looks cool. His missile pods can also detach from themselves like the little red bits, and this really cool gray and orange blast effect with extra tips. So you get a lot of stuff. Oh, and his ears are separate in the box, so please don't break or lose them. I've heard a lot of people forget that they're there, throw out the bag, and then realize, oh, his ears. And while I don't have a lot of SS86 dudes anymore, he still fits in quite well with both 86 and Legacy. So he can fit into a lot of different displays people want to make, which is very nice. He also has spring-loaded gimmicks other than the limbs popping off. You can open the blue part of his chest and it opens itself to reveal the Matrix Chamber. Like it opens itself. That's very cool. I like that a lot. I sit here a lot just flicking it open and closed. It's great. So, articulation. Oh, I was cracking my knee. Articulation is cool and strange at the same time. So the head is on a ball joint with an extra hinge joint so he can look up that far, look down into his own chest. Oops, that came on tab. Stay oh, come on. There, nope. What did I just do? There we go. Somehow knocked that out of alignment. You got a little bit of tilt, not a lot. The shoulders. Now the shoulders can rotate on very clicky ratchet joints, and then they go in and out at this hinge. Now, I have seen some people get really, really loose shoulder hinges. What I would recommend is, because this is a rivet and not an actual pin, dab a tiny bit of floor polish on top of that rivet and just sort of work it. until it falls into the crevices, and it will get in there, and just keep working it, and then let it sit, and eventually you'll have a tighter joint. The bicep rotation is there. I don't know why I said that like that. He has 90-degree bend at the elbow. However, this hinge right here gets in the way. So the arm is straight, it only bends about that far. And if you turn it ever so slightly inward, there you go. Now you have more bend. You got wrist rotation, and then the 3-finger trigger finger split, which is awesome. The wrist can be a little bit hard to get access to. That's come undone. You've got waist rotation, no ab crunch, unfortunately, but whatever. Hip skirts can move out of the way to accommodate. Legs can go forward, you can go back. On a nice soft buttery ratchet, they can go in and out. You have thigh rotation, 90-degree bend at the knee. This one, for some reason, likes to bend at the transformation joint and not at the knee. I need to thicken that tab up a little bit. There we go. And then you have ankle tilt, which only goes about that far, which is a tad annoying, but it's not terrible. But yeah, his posing is pretty cool. He could do a lot, but he also kind of looks a bit awkward because of how chunky he is. It's like trying to pose this thing. But this is a little bit better. Like, you can listen to this. Listen to how hollow this thing feels versus this. It's funny. So Magnus is a banger robot mode, and his transformation is all but simple, but it's also very enjoyable. So Magnus's transformation is both familiar and not at the same time, because to start with, you parts form these off. I kind of wish they did the whole like swing around thing like the MP, but due to the way the arms work, I kind of see how it just doesn't, they couldn't do that. We'll just straighten them out here. Like so. Get the arms straightened out. Peg them together. And then I like to do the arms first, which is take these sections and push them out. Like that. Clip these into place, like so. Move the camera up so you can see it. Open and unfold this out. This part right here feels very standard Magnus. A lot of Magnus toys just do this. Or similar variations of this. Then I'm going to rotate the arms all the way down. Like so. And then we move the camera back down. So we can do the torso. Unclip these two clips. Which, by the way, if you unclip these, you get a butterfly joint. I forgot to mention that. But bring those up. Bring that out. Open this all the way up and just sort of fold it back there. You want to take this section, bring it through that, rotate the head, I think. No, leave the head. Sort of like get all of this and the head pushed through here. One of my friends said that detaching the cab makes that a bit easier, and yeah, it kind of does, but I'm not going to do that. You want to just unfold the whole cab section. Now his cheeks have like slots they fit in, so you just sort of sit them in there, and that's the cab out of focus. Next thing you want to do is fold this section and his stomach up so that you can rotate this 180 degrees and then bring these sections back up. Next we're going to extend this like that. It clips in and we're going to leave it. Now I'm going to fold the wheels down because they do shift down ever so slightly. Something that this one desperately needed to do. Then unpeg and bring it out. Like that. Collapse it at the knee. Like so. Bring the crotch plate up and it will just sort of sit into a divot. Peg the feet together. Put them down. Now comes the fun part of trying to peg the arms together. This can be a bit annoying to do because if you don't have everything like perfectly lined up, the arms will try to force themselves apart. So we're gonna bring that in, peg this together, and the bottom peg is what likes to come apart. So if you get that bottom peg in, then everything sits. Just gonna make sure that's all straightened out. Come back here, you want to then slide this section up and over, peg the arm in. Do the same on this side. Peg the arm in. Peg the arms together. We're gonna then fold these wheels out. Snap this butt plate into place. Like that. Slide the cab forward. Open this section up. Like that. And then the pièce de résistance. Gap fillers. Oops. Gap fillers. He's got gap fillers. There you go. Oh, and then you fold these forward. Ultra Magnus. Truck mode looks great. Like, that's just Magnus through and through. I love how it takes the time to get its own gap fillers in certain spots. I do have one massive problem with the alt mode though. Under artificial light, he looks fine. But when presented with natural light, you can see the color difference between the palm white and the ABS white. It's very noticeable in natural light for me. It's really hard to show on camera because every camera I use tries to sort of color correct it a little bit, but it is there. Though this does stay in a moom? What the hell's a moom? This does stay in a room lit mostly by LED bulbs, so it's fine most of the time. It's just noticeable to me because I was walking around the house with this guy and I was like, oh, his white changes color depending on what room I'm in. Color differences aside though, he looks superb and feels superb. Nothing feels like it's going to untab or anything. Even if I give it a squeeze, it's fine. And he can hold 4 cars very snugly, but he can hold 4 cars, which is very cool. He does the ramp thing too, though the clips on the shoulders aren't quite strong enough, so if you leverage it down from the wrong side, the arms will tend to just start transforming themselves accidentally. Tad annoying, but like just grab it from closer to the ratchets as opposed to further away. He also rolls very, very well for such tiny wheels, but that's also because the wheels are pinned. We'll love seeing wheels pinned, thank you. My copy does like to just activate the ankle tilts all the time when in truck mode, which is kind of annoying. It's like this tiny little gap and everything's slightly uneven because of that. I think there's extra plastic I need to just get rid of there, but it does bother me. Oh, and the truck can detach from the rest of the trailer by shifting it to the middle and struggling to pop the middle out carefully. But I really like how it comes off. Yes, he does not do the white prime thing, but seeing as that was mainly a toy thing and not an 86 movie thing, I'm not mad. The way they do it here is accurate to the film, which is what this toy is based off of. It also means they can make the best armored Magnus toy they could without sacrificing anything for the sake of having a white prime in it. You're gonna leave it in there anyways, so like I don't see the point. If you want a white prime, there's the Kingdom one. That one works quite well. In the end, yes, I do feel this is worth the Commander price tag. But is it better than Armada Prime? That's a question that is on my mind quite a bit. It's hard for me because I really like both. They're both so nice to mess with and look at and just to hold. I'm having such a hard time picking which one I like better. But I do recommend Magnus. I got this at GameStop Canada, but he's starting to pop up in a lot of other places, so I would definitely grab one for yourself. But that's my look at Commander Class Ultra Magnus. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.